In this video about the JavaScript version of MathGraph, I show you how to graph a discontinuous function. First, with this tool, I create a new figure with a frame orthogonal. With the capture tool, I capture point O and these points. Now I expand this toolbar, calculation toolbar, and I use this tool, a real function. Name of the function f, formula, if parenthesis x equals 0, 0, int of x divided by x. Very important, I uncheck this checkbox because this function is discontinuous. Okay. Now my function exists, but the curve is not created. I want now to create a variable, so I expand this toolbar and I choose this icon, variable. Name of the variable n, mini value -20, maxi value 19, step value 1, actual value 3, and I check this checkbox. So now I can change the values of n by clicking on these buttons, plus and minus. Now I graph my function curve on an interval. First I activate the blue color and a thickness of 2 pixels. I expand this toolbar and I choose this tool, function curve with brackets. I check this checkbox, a value n, b value n plus 1 minus 10 power 2 minus 5, and I choose 100 points. If I click on these buttons, plus and minus, I see my curve changing. From -20 to 19, my variable takes 40 values. Now I use object locuses. I expand this toolbar and I choose this tool, object locus, through variable. The only variable is already selected. Okay. Now I click on this point locus and I ask for 40 values. Okay. Again, I click on this tool. Okay. And I click on this point, 40 values. And one more time, this variable, and I click on this circle arc. I want to display the formula of my function in a LaTeX display. I expand this toolbar and I choose this tool, LaTeX display. I click on the top left corner of the figure. I use this icon to get a matrix of 2 lines. First line, f applied to 0 equals 0. Second line, if x non equals 2, I use this and I click on this button to get the LaTeX code for non-equal. So if x non equal to 0, f applied to x equals, I click on this icon to get a fraction, numerator int of x, denominator x. I want these characters to be in text mode, so I select these and I click on this button. Now I want all of this to be included in a big left curly brace, so I select all and I click on this tool. I click on this checkbox to erase the background. Okay. Now I activate the green color, and with this tool, link it point, I create a point, link it to the x-axis. Name x. Okay. With this tool, name a point or a line, I click on the point and I check this checkbox. So the name of the point is not visible anymore. Instead, With this tool, LaTeX display link into point, I click on the point and I create a LaTeX display. Text of the LaTeX display X, size 20. Align, I choose this alignment. Okay. I can move the LaTeX display with this tool. I want to measure the x coordinate at this point, so I expand this toolbar and I choose this icon, x coordinate measure. I click on the point, name of the measure x. Okay. Now I activate the black color. I expand this toolbar and I choose this tool, point through coordinates, and I create a point of abscissa x and ordinate f applied to x. Now the red color. Again I click on this tool and I create a point of coordinates 0, f applied to x. I click again on this tool, LaTeX display link into point. I click on the red point. I choose this alignment and LaTeX code f applied to x. Okay, I can move the LaTeX display. Now in black and in dotted line style, I use these two segments and I create these two segments. I use value display to display the values of x and f applied to x. First, I create a new calculation, name y, formula f applied to x. In green, I use this tool, value display, and I click on the figure. Value to be displayed x, number of digits 3, starting string hash I x hash n equals 2. Hash I is to get italic characters, hash n is to get normal characters, and I check this checkbox. I activate the red color. I click again on this tool, value display. I click under the other value display. Value to be displayed, this one, starting string. Three digits and background erase. Okay. With the capture tool, I can move the value displays and I can move my point here. If I click on this tool, modify numerical object, I can see here a calculation. This calculation is the radius for my brackets. If I click on the button modify, I can choose to modify the radius of my brackets. You see the result on the figure. Thank you for watching this video and enjoy my graph.